Welcome to the TRUE Pre-Certification and Recertification webinar. TRUE stands for Total Resource Use and Efficiency and is the USGBC and GBCI's Zero Waste Certification Program. Today, we will be digging in to some exciting new program offerings. We will have the chance to hear from several of our staff here at the USGBC and GBCI. So we will start with some introductions. My name is Celeste McMichael, and I am a Director of Client Solutions with TRUE. My background is in architecture, and I have been working in the field of sustainability since 2006. Even prior to joining the USGBC as a staff member, I have been involved with various GBCI programs over the years as a lead consultant, Green Rater, and TRUE advisor. In my current role, I support our clients in their understanding of TRUE and the certification process, develop tools to support the growth of the program, write articles, and help our awesome clients celebrate their success stories. I am located in Brooklyn, New York, and I support projects located throughout the Northeast, the Mid-Atlantic, the Midwest, and Europe. And now I will turn it over to Vijaya to introduce herself.
Thanks, Celeste. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Vijaya Yelamraju. I'm the Vice President of Certification at GBCI. I manage and oversee the certification delivery and technical product evolution of GBCI's non-lead programs, such as WELL, GRESB, EDGE, PEER, TRUE, and others. I've been with GBCI for almost 10 years now, where I've held various roles spanning technical reviews, quality assurance, and program management before moving into my current role. Prior to joining GBCI, I worked for several years as a lead consultant and an architect on various projects across the United States and India. I'm a trained architect with a specialization in energy and sustainable design from Texas A&M University. Thank you all for joining today. I'm excited and looking forward to engaging with you all via this webinar. Emily?
Hi, I'm Emily DeCramer, and I'm the Certification Program Lead for TRUE at GBCI. I'm responsible for the day-to-day management and ongoing evolution of the certification, and I've been with the program since its inception 7 years ago, and overall have been working in the zero waste field for over a decade in a variety of roles, ranging from managing zero waste programs, zero waste events, training and education, and positions at industry stakeholders such as haulers, landfills, and nonprofits. I'm a certified sustainable resource management professional, TRUE advisor, and hold a bachelor's degree from University of California, Merced.
All right, so this is our agenda for today. We will start with a quick overview and background on why we developed the pre-certification and recertification offering and how it aligns with USGBC and GBCI priorities and mission. Then we'll talk more in detail about the pre-certification and recertification process and requirements, and close with some reminders and Q&A. Before we get to TRUE, let's start with a brief overview about GBCI. We are the premier organization independently recognizing excellence in green business industry performance and practice globally. Through rigorous certification and credentialing standards, GBCI drives adoption of green business practices, which fosters global competitiveness and enhances environmental performance and human health benefits. We are a wholly owned subsidiary of USGBC, and we share a common mission for the built environment, which is the creation and development of safe, healthy, inclusive, smart, productive, efficient, equitable, sustainable, responsive, and resilient buildings and neighborhoods. We have various tools that address various needs in the market: LEED, WELL, PEER, GRESB, SITE, ICP, and TRUE, which we will talk about in more detail today. These programs together focus on creating sustainable, resilient, and healthy buildings, neighborhoods, and communities for people. Our programs go from the individual building scale to city and infrastructure scale. With our model, we are able to deliver quality products to the market quickly, while at the same time focusing on overall mission of global market transformation. all of which underscores GBCI's overall mission: market transformation for this generation. One building, community, and city at a time, we can and are changing the world. True helps us take this mission further. We are changing and transforming the waste industry one project at a time. While many of you might be familiar with True, for the benefit of those who may be relatively new to the program, True stands for Total Resource Use and Efficiency. It's an acronym showcasing how we seek to instill a more circular economy in which all resources are valued for their highest and best use. As Colette mentioned earlier, True is USGBC and GBCI's zero waste program, which is designed to drive sustainable and resilient circular economies through upstream waste reduction. True is the first program dedicated to measuring and improving zero waste performance by encouraging the adoption of reliable, resilient, and sustainable practices which contribute to environmental, social, and economical goals. The goal of projects participating in True is to divert all solid waste from the landfill, incineration, and the environment. True goes beyond recycling and diversion to help restructure production and distribution systems to prevent waste from being manufactured in the first place. The True rating system's focus is on upstream policies and practices with an emphasis on metrics. Each category in the True rating system provides opportunities for operational process improvements, and the credits are strategies to help you along your journey to zero waste. True certified projects are finding value engaging with the program because it helps them reduce operational costs and engage with their communities, resulting in several positive outcomes, such as saving money, resources, and energy, reducing greenhouse gases, liability, and pollution, reinvesting resources locally, creating jobs, and finally adding value to their organization and the community. From our first certified project, Sierra Nevada Brewing Company in Chico, California, which received True Platinum in 2013, to our most recent 177th certification at Soldiers Memorial Military Museum in St. Louis, Missouri, projects range from microsites to large corporate campuses across all industries, including manufacturing, retail, hospitality, offices, and higher education. The work that every single one of you are doing is showcasing how it is possible for our future to be healthier, cleaner, and most importantly, one without waste. This past year, we've also seen our first projects in Vietnam, Greece, Colombia, Italy, India, and the United Kingdom, as well as many states with notable growth in the Midwest and South. True was developed as a leadership standard to recognize facilities that have defined and achieved their zero waste goals, making positive impacts on people, the environment, and the economy, both locally and globally. However, leadership is not confined to the moment of certification. Leadership is a journey and can be demonstrated by taking the first step towards zero waste, implementing policies, making incremental progress on diversion rates, achieving zero waste, and then engaging in a process of continuous improvement after achieving zero waste. We heard from interested leaders in the market about their desire to engage with True, but were unable to do so as they did not have data for a minimum of 1 year or yet achieved the minimum 90% diversion to be eligible for True certification. GBCI realized that there was no standard mechanism to engage early on and recognize and guide interested businesses and facilities who are in the beginning stages of their journey towards zero waste. So in order to scale the program for mass adoption, to align with GBCI's mission of rapid market transformation and ultimately increase our collective impact, we want to engage with and support facilities in various stages of performance. True certification will remain a rigorous leadership standard, but we want to provide an incremental pathway to support additional facilities in getting there. Similarly, we also received interest from early True adopters on their desire to demonstrate continued performance and upgrade certification levels. We realized that the lifecycle of a project provides numerous opportunities to recognize commitment to zero waste goals from the planning phase to the maintenance and improvement of existing work. By formalizing these aspects of the lifecycle, facilities can market the unique and valuable features of their work and obtain clearer guidance on next steps. To support this goal, earlier this month, GBCI launched True Pre-certification and True Recertification to engage projects from the beginning of their journey to zero waste and beyond. True Pre-certification recognizes projects which have implemented the fundamental actions and policies needed to effectively pursue zero waste and have demonstrated a commitment to achieving true certification. True Pre-certification is available to all projects at any stage of diversion performance. It's an optional incremental pathway through true certification that prioritizes the core actions essential to getting a successful start towards zero waste. True Recertification, on the other side of the spectrum, recognizes projects that engage in a continuous improvement process and demonstrate leadership after achieving true certification by maintaining or improving their zero waste efforts. True certified projects may recertify by providing annual performance data, demonstrating that the project continues to meet zero waste requirements. Projects may also recertify and pursue additional points to upgrade their previous certification levels, gaining increased recognition. So whether you are at the beginning stages of your zero waste journey, already achieved zero waste, or want to push the envelope further, GBCI now has an offering to recognize your leadership and commitment to zero waste. With True Pre-certification, you can get started on your zero waste journey and implement the fundamental actions needed for a robust zero waste program, get recognized for your efforts towards zero waste, and utilize an incremental pathway towards certification, receive feedback on proposed strategies and policies, which will allow you to identify any gaps in your zero waste program, make improvements, and submit successfully for certification, demonstrate your commitment to achieve zero waste, and signal your intent to pursue true certification. Deploy a consistent waste management framework across facilities in various stages of performance. And finally, celebrate your zero waste journey and market your pre-certification to attract new clients, customers, or tenants. Similarly, by recertifying your already certified True project, you can confirm your zero waste policies are working as intended and meeting performance targets, engage in a continuous improvement cycle to gain increased recognition and certification levels, demonstrate your continued leadership in achieving zero waste and maintaining true certification, and celebrate your continued performance and market your continued achievement of true certification. With these additional recognition opportunities, we hope that you will have the ability to demonstrate and market your efforts at every stage of your zero waste journey. With that, I will turn it over to my colleague, Emily, who will provide more details on the process and requirements for pre-certification and recertification.
Thank you, Vijaya. I'm going to begin our deep dive into these two recognition pathways by first going through everything you need to know about pre-certification. First, pre-certification is an optional step and is not required for true certification. You may choose to skip pre-certification and pursue full certification directly if you are ready. As Vijaya discussed, it is an incremental pathway to formal true certification that allows you to work on the certification in 2 stages and achieve recognition from True sooner than you might have otherwise for those first initial steps that you've taken towards zero waste. The requirements selected for True prioritize a mix of fundamental actions, policies, and strategies that we know are key to getting a successful start to zero waste in True. We wanted to focus more on actions rather than intents and strategies, so we included many action-based requirements to encourage forward progress in your program. Almost any type of physical building or facility and their operations can be pre-certified and later certified to True. including, but not limited to, commercial buildings owned by businesses and buildings owned by property managers, educational institutions, government or military agencies, industrial sites, and nonprofits. In addition, multi-tenant buildings can also apply for pre-certification, as well as a portfolio of multiple projects. These projects can register and pre-certify all at once or over time. There is no maximum or minimum size for a site. The project may include multiple buildings or be within a greater facility not seeking pre-certification. TRUE can also be applied anywhere in the world, so we welcome sites from any country. And finally, the site can be at any level of diversion performance. There is no minimum diversion rate required. You can see the TRUE rating system and our guide to certification for more details on project scope and definitions. Projects that cannot apply for pre-certification include events and construction sites due to the fact that they are limited time occurrences and are not representative of ongoing operations or performance. The pre-certification process is the same as outlined in the TRUE rating system and guide to certification, with some key differences. Let's go through the steps. The first step is to register your project with GBCI by providing basic project information, a signed certification agreement, and submitting payment for the registration and pre-certification fee. You can register at any time and don't have to be ready for pre-certification yet. With any TRUE certification pathway, we recommend to register well in advance before your submittal for certification review. You will only register once during the certification process, so your registration for pre-certification is also the registration for certification. During registration, you can also pay for the certification fee for your future certification, which we recommend to expedite things in the future and to lock in current rates. We'll review all the fees and provide more details later in the webinar. Next, submit the documentation required to achieve pre-certification once it's completed. Then you will receive a preliminary review report from GBCI with review comments on your submitted documentation. You will then respond to any clarification requests in those comments by updating or uploading additional documentation. Once received, the assessor will review your responses and GBCI will send you a final review report with the final results. There is no on-site assessment for pre-certification, just the documentation reviews. The review timelines are the same as for a standard TRUE project. Finally, accept the final results and receive your pre-certification. Pre-certified projects are not subject to annual certification maintenance or any other post-certification requirements, such as the case study, until after they achieve TRUE certification. Pre-certification is valid for 3 years. To achieve pre-certification, you must submit strategies or complete actions addressing a subset of TRUE minimum program requirements and credits. These were selected because of their relative ease to complete and their importance to getting a successful start to the certification and zero waste journey. There are no points awarded or tiers of pre-certification levels. You must document and address all of the TRUE minimum program requirements and credits listed to achieve pre-certification. Before we review the requirements, I wanted to mention for both pre-certification and recertification, there are guidance documents on the TRUE website. These are a critical resource with all of the information from today plus further details, so be sure to download and review if you haven't yet. Minimum program requirements. First, you must demonstrate compliance with or provide the strategies for future compliance for these 5 out of 7 minimum program requirements, or MPRs. MPR 6 and 7 are post-certification requirements and thus are not applied to pre-certification projects. Some MPRs and credits will have modified requirements that differ from full TRUE certification, and these are highlighted here in the white rows. Then upon certification, the full requirement must be met. For full details on all the modifications and requirements, see the pre-certification guidance document. This table also appears in the guide as well as a handy quick reference resource. Let's focus on the data requirements next, as that is a key part of pre-certification. The first data requirement is connected with MPR2, which is that a project has achieved an average 90% or greater diversion rate. But for pre-certification, there is no minimum required diversion rate, and the project simply provides the strategies that will be used to achieve it later. The next data requirement is MPR4, that the project has a base year of data. But for pre-certification, less than 1 year is accepted. This is the only data that will be required for pre-certification, and we'll go through more detail on that in a minute. And finally, for minimum program requirement 5, the project does not exceed a 10% contamination level. The project must simply provide a narrative describing the strategies that will be used to achieve that upon certification. So what are the requirements for the data that is submitted, and what must it include at a minimum? The data submitted will follow the same material scope as for full true certification, which includes all solid non-hazardous materials generated within the boundary of the project seeking pre-certification. The same list of acceptable diversion methods also applies. For pre-certification, a minimum of 1 month of data can be provided to satisfy the baseline data requirement. However, a full 12 months is recommended to have the best preparedness for full certification later down the road. The data must be recent and ending sometime within the last 3 months. The data submitted must also include the diversion rate calculation by weight. And as a reminder, there's no minimum diversion rate required. It must also be broken down by material and month, and include explanations of how any estimates were calculated. In addition, documentation that verifies the weight values listed for at least 1 month must be provided. All of that together looks like this for a full 12-month data set. It's separated by months, divided up by material, and also calculates the overall diversion rate for the performance period. In addition to the 5 MPRs, you must demonstrate compliance with all 9 of these credits from the True Rating System. Unless a modification is noted in the pre-certification guidance document, all credit requirements listed in the True Rating System must be satisfied. Modifications for credits are similar to the modifications in the MPRs, like submitting a strategy only or just completing 1 or 2 of several credit requirements. One document may be developed to address several requirements. For example, the zero waste goal for Leadership Credit 1 can be included in the zero waste policy document. For full details on all the modifications and requirements, see the pre-certification guidance document. This quick reference table is also in the document as well. The first true project to be pre-certified was Cisco's RTP campus, which is located in North Carolina and has 12 buildings that include office, food service, and data centers. The campus has committed to a zero waste goal and achieved a 76% diversion rate before pre-certification by reducing food waste and paper, reuse, composting, ensuring construction waste is diverted, replacing desk side bins with centralized collection, conducting annual waste audits, and more. They decided to pursue true pre-certification in order to have that all-important early win to show employees and leadership that the campus has the framework and commitment to become a true site in the near future. To achieve the last 14% to get to 90% diversion in true certification, they will develop better employee education and training, waste sorting post-collection, and further reduction actions such as the elimination of single-use disposables. So how do you get from pre-certification to certification as Cisco intends to do? The steps to achieve certification are simple. Before getting started, pay the certification fee if it has not been paid already. As mentioned previously, registration is completed at the pre-certification step, so you do not have to register again. As your program progresses, complete the additional actions required to satisfy all the MPRs and additional credits to earn certification. When ready, submit your documentation to GBCI for review. The types of updates you will need to make to the MPRs and credits that were required for pre-certification will vary depending on the MPR or credit in question. For example, additional narratives or documentation may be required for MPRs and credits that were only partially satisfied in pre-certification and require full compliance upon certification. No additional documentation will be needed for credits fully satisfied at pre-certification, as they will be automatically awarded. For some credits, no additional documentation is needed, but you must confirm continued compliance with the requirements to be awarded the credit again. Also, it is encouraged to update previously awarded credits if there are any changes. Once submitted, GBCI will conduct a certification review under its standard process and timelines, resulting in the issuance of your certification if all requirements have been met. Knowing how to begin can be confusing. Next, we will outline some actions and policies that are not required for pre-certification, but are helpful for getting started on the zero waste and true certification journey. A great first step to getting started is to educate yourself on zero waste and true. Watch a webinar, attend an event, view one of our education courses, go to our website, and read our guidance documents. But perhaps the most important thing to do is to complete our True Advisor Certificate program. True Advisor is a professional certificate program offered by GBCI. Anyone can be a True Advisor. There are no eligibility requirements to participate. It is a self-paced, on-demand online training and assessment covering zero waste and all of the details of the True rating system. The True Advisor Certificate demonstrates that an individual possesses a basic knowledge of zero waste, can support the implementation of zero waste programs, and can help prepare facilities for true certification. Therefore, it is strongly recommended that project team members earn the True Advisor credential as an initial step in the journey. You can also earn a pilot credit when you pursue true certification for having a True Advisor on the project team. For more information and to get started, visit our website at true.gbci.org. After educating yourself, it is recommended to complete the key actions represented in the True Credits and MPRs in pre-certification, which can be summarized as the 3 A's: auditing, analyzing, and aspiring to zero waste. Although these are not required to be completed in any specific order, it is advised to begin by assessing your performance to see where you stand, and then from that assessment, develop a plan to get to zero waste. Knowing your waste is a key first step. Begin your zero waste and pre-certification journey by gathering information on your service levels, waste types, and diversion performance by conducting the several different types of audits which are represented in the True pre-certification credits, such as an evaluation of collection container sizes and pickup frequencies to ensure that they are the appropriate amount to the current volume of materials, an assessment of compliance with local and national solid waste and recycling regulations, and an audit of landfill, incineration, waste-to-energy bound material, as well as recyclables and compostables. It is also critical to look for contamination, such as trash in the recycling, to assess where it is coming from and why it may be happening so you can take steps to mitigate it. During the audits, you should include both outside collection containers and individual department receptacles to have a more detailed understanding of waste generation and diversion performance by area. Many waste haulers and service providers will assist you with this, but it is also important to engage building occupants as a training opportunity and to help achieve total participation of everyone on site in the future. As we just discussed, a waste audit is an analysis of what materials a facility is generating, where those materials should go, and what materials are ending up in the wrong place. It focuses on what to do with materials already generated. The goal of a waste audit is to reduce landfill, incineration, waste to energy, and the environment by moving it into a recycling or compost bin. But you must go a step further for zero waste success. You must know how to prevent your waste, and for what can't be prevented, know what the highest and best use for that waste is. A zero waste audit helps with that. The goal of a zero waste audit is to prevent that material from being generated in the first place. A zero waste audit will eliminate trash, recycling, and compost bins altogether by examining the sources of the material and employing reduce, redesign, and reuse strategies. It focuses on purchasing policies and practices, because if everything you are buying is reusable, returnable, recyclable, and compostable, you will be more easily able to reach your zero waste goals. So be sure that when you are in the auditing stage, you are digging a little deeper and focusing on preventing waste from occurring in the first place. You can then analyze information gathered from the waste audits and other records to assess your current diversion performance and propose future actions to take to increase diversion. Compile a report of the zero waste audit findings that includes recommendations. Also, take this opportunity to evaluate internal policies, programs, and infrastructure and how they may need to be adjusted to support the achievement of zero waste. Once you have identified all of the materials that travel through or are generated within the boundaries of your facility during your audits and analysis, setting up data tracking is the next step. The data is critical to establish a baseline prior to implementing waste diversion practices so that you may track your progress. And as you saw earlier, you must be able to quantify both your past and current diversion actions for success and true. Determining how data is collected may require working with vendors and suppliers, waste service providers, or data tracking tools and systems. Ideally, you can obtain actual weights for your baseline and reporting periods. However, data can also be backfilled with estimates from agreements, receipts, and other records such as service records. We encourage using this strategy to put together a full baseline year so you are better prepared for full certification. However, as noted earlier, a minimum of 1 month is accepted. You may also want to note costs and savings to better understand and leverage the fiscal benefits and impacts of the program. Based on the findings of the audits and analyses you have completed, aspire to zero waste by setting a zero waste goal and writing a policy to support that goal. Lay the groundwork for total participation of all building occupants by sharing the zero waste goal and policy with them once it's been developed. While not required for pre-certification or for certification, it is recommended that you write and implement a zero waste plan to achieve as much zero waste and true certification success as possible. Once implemented, continually review and update the plan and be sure to celebrate the successes. As noted earlier, the auditing, analyzing, and aspiring steps can be done in a different order. For example, an organization may have set the zero waste goal first before embarking on any auditing or analysis. Last, a true credit gap analysis is recommended to assess your standing and the next steps towards certification. Conducting a gap analysis using true credits can provide a comprehensive picture of where the project is on their journey to zero waste and to true certification. The gap analysis could be conducted along with the various types of audits we just discussed, or after pre-certification is achieved. It is not required for pre-certification or certification. It's just a helpful tool to help you plan. The certification gap analysis can be completed using the True Scorecard in the application or submission form. In the form, select yes on each credit that could be achieved now, that you are unsure is being achieved, or that may be achieved in time for true certification. Then view your point total and corresponding certification level in the scorecard to see where you stand. Now we will be moving to the opposite end of the true continuum to discuss what comes after true certification, which is recertification. Recertification encourages you to monitor the performance data of your site and demonstrate that your certified facility is performing as intended and beyond. This section will discuss how to maintain your certification after it has been awarded, along with when and how to recertify to recognize your continued leadership. So let's start with annual maintenance, or how you keep your certification once you've got it. To maintain certification, true projects are required to annually submit their most recent 12 months of diversion performance data and confirm that they are still in compliance with minimum program requirements and previously achieved credits. This information is due by the anniversary date of certification each year, and the project will receive a reminder to submit this information in advance of this date. If you submit information annually as required, you will maintain your certification in good standing, have reduced fees for any future recertifications that may be needed, and have priority consideration for showcasing in true promotional materials, media highlights, participation in educational outreach, and speaking engagements. If you do not submit data annually, you may be required to recertify your project, depending on the length of time GBCI does not receive your data, and to pay additional fees. If your project can no longer meet one or more true minimum program requirements, you should contact GBCI describing the situation and which requirements are affected. We understand that there may be circumstances beyond your control that cause you to no longer be able to meet one or more true minimum program requirements. GBCI is dedicated to supporting you with these challenges while also helping you retain your certification, and so solutions may be available. So it's important to keep in touch with us even if you no longer meet our minimum requirements. If there are any changes to the site, such as space being added, the original boundary of the project must be adjusted to include it. All activities in that space must also comply with previously met true requirements and be included in the diversion data. No further review or recertification will be required, but the project must update GBCI about the changes. In addition to annual maintenance requirements, some projects may need to recertify every 3 years to maintain their true certification. Policies on when the certification expires and how to maintain certification will differ based on when the project was registered. For projects registered on or after September 1st, 2020, the certification remains valid for 3 years. Certification is maintained by complying with the annual maintenance requirements we just discussed, and recertifying every 3 years. If annual data is not provided for 3 consecutive years and you do not recertify at the 3-year anniversary, you will no longer be considered certified and will need to recertify to reinstate the certification. For projects registered before September 1st, 2020, the certification has no set term of validity and no additional fees are due as long as you maintain certification by complying with annual maintenance requirements. And again, if annual data is not provided for 3 consecutive years, the project will no longer be considered certified and will be required to recertify. However, you may choose to recertify to increase your certification level or after a facility move. The new certification will be valid for 3 years and subject to the certification validity policy for projects registered on or after September 1st, 2020. Recertification is the next important step in the process to maintaining or even enhancing certification. When and how to recertify will depend on the reason for the recertification. The first type of recertification is for maintaining certification status. This is for projects registered on or after September 1st, 2020 who have reached the end of their 3-year validity term, or for earlier projects that have not submitted data for 3 years and want to recertify to reinstate certification. The next type is recertification to upgrade the certification level. This is for projects that have increased their diversion and enhanced their zero waste programs and wish to recognize these additional achievements. Recertification is available to these projects so that they may increase point totals and the certification level. And lastly, recertification is also for projects that have relocated to another building or property. You may recertify at the new location by demonstrating that the new facility operates in the same manner as the previous location. You must demonstrate compliance with all NPRs and applicable credits at the new location. Let's review each of these in a little more detail. To recertify for the purposes of maintaining certification, projects will undergo a performance-based recertification pathway. First, register with GBCI by providing basic project information, a signed certification agreement, and submitting payment for the recertification fee. We'll cover these fees later in the webinar. After registration, you are required to complete a brief form to confirm the project is still in compliance with minimum program requirements and previously achieved credits, along with submitting diversion performance data for the most recent 12 months, demonstrating 90% or greater overall annual diversion. Supporting documentation confirming weight data values for one of those months is also required. All diversion performance information will then be reviewed and you will receive confirmation from GBCI that the project is recertified. Once recertified, the certification will be valid for another 3 years, at which time you will recertify again. The recertification process for upgrades and moves differs from the standard 3-year recertification we just reviewed. The main difference is that there is a full review of all credits. GBCI will review and award newly attempted credits as well as previously earned ones. The recertification process and requirements are the same for both the upgrade and move types of recertifications. Generally, the process is the same as for typical certification reviews with some key differences. First, you will register, then submit your documentation to GBCI when ready, which will be reviewed and you will receive and respond to preliminary comments. Once the response is received, the final review will commence, and then there is no on-site assessment. Interviews, if needed, will take place via phone or virtual meeting, and you may be asked to submit additional photographic evidence for some credits. The review timelines are the same as for a standard through project. Finally, you will accept the final results and receive the recertification, which is valid for 3 years. As for documentation and recertification, there are a few things you need to know. First, in the application or submission form and documentation submitted for recertification, you must indicate which credits are newly attempted, along with providing the required documentation for those new credits. In addition, projects must continue to meet the requirements of all minimum program requirements and credits previously earned that are being attempted again. MPRs and credits previously earned will be reviewed and revalidated in the interest of the integrity and validity of the certification. So you must provide updates to previously earned credits as applicable, indicating in the form which have been updated, or where there are no updates, simply providing confirmation that the project continues to comply with the MPR or previously achieved credit. Let's review the types of updates needed in a little more detail. MPRs and credits that will have varying requirements for updates upon recertification depending on the nature of the actions that constitute the credit. For MPRs and credits that are about policies and one-time actions, the one-time actions do not need to be repeated in order to earn the credit again. Some documentation from the initial certification, such as policies, will not need to be resubmitted. MPRs and credits that have an ongoing action must be updated to demonstrate that the action is still occurring. For example, quarterly communications about zero waste. All MPR and credit requirements that request baseline data are waived, as the baseline data from the previous certification will continue to be considered as the baseline. And finally, recent photos of the service provider bins that are now present at the site and their contents are required. For more details on the technical and documentation requirements, see the recertification guidance document. Once the recertification process has been completed for an upgrade or a move, the anniversary date for annual maintenance will be reset to the date of the recertification. You will be expected to remain compliant with annual maintenance requirements and recertify every 3 years. If the point total changes enough to signify a new level, this will be updated in all public project listings that GBCI has. The online project profile will be automatically updated with the new certification level and diversion rate accomplishments. You may choose to update other aspects of the project profile as well, such as the case study, to reflect new accomplishments. You may then choose to recertify again at any time. There is no limit to the number of recertifications a project can complete to gain more points or upgrade their certification level. One site that has completed recertification is the Titan America cement plant in Virginia. They achieved a 96% diversion rate and silver level certification at 38 points. 1 year later, they achieved a 98% diversion and came back to be recertified at the gold level with a total of 59 points. There are many new actions and steps that they took to get to the gold level, but one of the big ones that earned them a lot of points was developing an environmentally friendly purchasing policy and purchasing more for zero waste. They also worked on communication to employees, did more extensive audits, and started composting to earn more points. But they're not stopping there. They're aiming to recertify again, and their next goal is platinum. So how do you take your project to the next level like Titan did after achieving true? Every site is different and will have unique possibilities and next steps, but these are some areas that could be focused on to earn additional credits in order to take things to the next level. Like with pre-certification, starting with audits and analyses to assess what is left in your waste streams and look for opportunities to enhance the zero waste program is a good first step. Also, completing a credit gap analysis again should reveal new actions and ideas you may be able to take to earn more true credits and expand your program. Also, updating and evolving your previous commitments to keep pushing the bar higher and build a zero waste culture at the site is critical to moving things forward. And finally, make an impact by going beyond your walls. Mentor your peers in their pursuit of zero waste and look for ways you can share your story and best practices. Try to conduct business and engage in diversion actions locally or within the nearby region to boost the local economy. Know your impact on human health, resiliency, sustainability, and equity with your zero waste program and your other sustainability efforts, and be sure to communicate and share that with others. Also, attend true events, view our courses and educational content online to get ideas of where you might be able to go next and learn from others. And that concludes our in-depth look at pre-certification and recertification. I will now turn things back over to our hostess, Celeste McMickle, to conclude the presentation.
Great. Thank you, Emily, and thank you, Vijaya, for that fantastic overview. You've provided everyone with a lot of great information. So we're going to take a couple minutes now to talk about some wrap-up items. One thing that I know many of you may be curious about is pricing. So we did just want to take a minute to give you some information on that. We've gone over a lot of the benefits and everything associated with with the reasons why, but some of the logistics that you might be interested are here. So this table will be available on our website for viewing in the near future. But I'll just quickly go over how to read this table for anyone new to the program. So we do have special rates for USGBC Silver Plus members and for organizational and non-members. And these are shown separately in the second and third columns. This table outlines the registration and certification fees towards the top. These are a flat rate. And then below this, we have outlined the various certification fees, which are based on square footage for the facility. Then recertification, following at the bottom, is also a flat fee, but as Emily discussed, this could vary based on which recertification effort is being addressed, if this is for a maintained annual data facility, a lapsed data situation, or a move or an upgrade. And then if registration and certification fees are paid at the same time, we do offer a 10% discount. So that's a nice opportunity. And then we do have special rates available for facilities that are exceeding 1 million square feet and also for volume projects. So in those instances, I would encourage you to be in touch with our team and we'll get you pointed in the right direction. And just in general, if you have any questions on this, feel free to reach out and we are happy to discuss more. If you would like more information, I would encourage you to check out our website where we have a lot of resources posted. These are all for free and they address different program offerings that we've created to help support you in your efforts to achieve true certification. Also on our website, you can sign up for our monthly newsletter. You can browse our project profiles of certified projects and check out our article feed to stay up to date with all things zero waste. And then, of course, we also encourage you to check out our True Advisor professional credential program. You want to go to the next slide, Emily? All of that information is available there.